The iPhone 12 mini will likely go down in history as one of the most popular iPhone releases ever, and I've used it for almost a month. Here are my thoughts. As soon as I saw it released, I knew I wanted to try it. I love that boxy design that we haven't seen since the 5S. I love a small enough phone that you can use with one hand, but a screen that's still big enough that you can actually read off of and consume content. This had it all for me. I knew it was the device for me, and that blue color is just fantastic. So after watching some other YouTubers' content about this phone, I debated a little bit before finally deciding to bite the bullet and trade in my XS Max, going from the biggest phone to the smallest iPhone, going all mini, and I haven't regretted it one bit, haven't looked back. So let's talk about some of the positives and negatives I've had with using this phone over the last month. Starting with the good things, first and foremost, that hardware. I absolutely love the square design that they brought back. I terribly missed it when they did away with it with the 5S. Sure, the rounded edge of the 6 was new and novel at the time, but over time I realized I just didn't like that design. It felt more slippery. I completely love the square boxy design of the 12. It's so much easier to hold on to. Next up is that screen. We finally get an OLED brought to the regular iPhone, not just the Pro version. In years past with the 11 and the 10R, we just had the old LCD screen, and now we finally have the rich, deep colors of the OLED on the regular iPhone, and I'm so happy about that. Not to mention the screen lays completely flat on the top of the device and it doesn't really curve into the sides, so it makes it really easy for screen protectors. And I gotta mention that color. I love the dark blue. I've always had black or white phones, and I always wanted something a little more colorful but not too extravagant or light, and for me this blue is just awesome and it hits home for me. And talking about 5G, I know it's controversial, it's in its infancy yet, it's not really progressed anywhere, but so far where I live here in central Colorado, 5G is actually really good. Even at home I can get speeds of up to 100 megabytes per second regularly on just my cellular 5G data, and I've had a pretty good experience with it so far. The software is really good. I mean, it's the brand new phone running the latest software, and I definitely notice a difference even coming from my XS Max. Something as simple as opening Twitter, where it just snaps open right away, where my XS Max took a second or two longer. Little things that I noticed that it's just so much quicker and snappier than just a phone or two ago. Photo and video quality is really good. I've even filmed some B-roll and some stuff for this channel on it already, and I'm super impressed. It is miles ahead than where the XS Max was, and it's super crisp and it's super good. And finally, that wide angle camera is actually pretty fun. It's fun to get different perspectives on things, and especially useful when you flip it around and you have a wide angle camera on the front. So when you're taking that group selfie, you can get everybody in it, and that's just super great. And now for the negatives, and they're not really negatives in the sense that you may have seen in some of my last videos. They definitely don't impact my opinion on this phone at all. They're just some things that I would have cared differently for. And starting off with talking about that camera again, I think the wide angle is great. It's kind of gimmicky, but at the same time, I don't find it as useful as I did the telephoto lens on my XS Max. I would usually find myself wanting to zoom in way more on an image and get a clearer photo than I do wanting to zoom out and make everything look small. So again, you know, if I'm inside taking a photo of a room or something, then it's great, but it doesn't really provide much use for me, like the telephoto did. On the front side of the phone, where you're taking a selfie, yeah, that's huge and that's awesome. But on the back side, I could do without the wide angle. And the battery life is okay. It's not great. I'm a huge battery snob, so I always like to be plugged in. You know, if I'm below 60%, to me that's it's dying and I need to plug it in. But I have forced myself to stay off the charger some days, and I'll still end the day with some moderate use and YouTubing at the end of the night with about 30% battery left. So it'll definitely make it through the day if you're conservative with it, and especially if you have a charger. So battery life just really isn't an issue. But overall, I'm super happy and super impressed with this phone. I've said it in videos past that I love the 5S, I love that square design, I love smaller phones, but I hated the small screen and the old technology that came with it. Literally, I couldn't have designed a phone any better. The boxy design, the small, easy to use with one hand, with the modern, large screen that takes over the whole display, the whole device. It's amazing, and I just could not be happier with it. So if you're a fan of smaller phones are just getting astronomically huge these days and ridiculous. So if you like the smaller phones and you're nostalgic for that boxy design that was abandoned with the 5S, this is definitely the phone for you. I highly recommend it. Like I said, I've been using it for a month and I have not looked back since, and I completely love it. It's completely changed the way I think about and interact with my phone on a day-to-day basis, and it's just really nice and it's easy. If you're looking to get the Mini, I hope this video helped you to make a decision. Comment below, let me know what you think, let me know your thoughts. I'd be glad to provide any input and help you out. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.